So hello and welcome to the Bio and Chem channel. Today's topic is about cells. Cells are the structural and functional units of living organisms. What it means is that if we break out any living organism to the cellular level, the smallest independent component that we could find will be the cell. Remember that the cell is the first living component in the organization of life. So they are structural, functional, and biological units of all living beings. Most of them can replicate, hence they are the building block of life. They are the basic units of living organism because they can carry out all life activities such as feeding, reproduction, growth, etc. So Robert Hooke was the first biologist to discover cells in 1665. Biologists once thought that life spontaneously existed from non-living things, but with invention of microscope, this was disapproved, and it was confirmed that cells only come from pre-existing cells. He discovered box-shaped structures which he called cells, and this led to the classical cell theory, which was proposed by Theodor Schwann in 1839, and it contains three theories, which is all organisms are made up of cells, cells are basic units of life, and cells come from pre-existing cells. Living organisms are classified into two major groups. One, the unicellular organism and the multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms consist of only one cells. Example are the amoeba, the euglena, etc. So by definition, organization of life like tissue or organ are absent. Multicellular organisms consist of two or more cells. In other words, they have many cells, e.g. goats, man. So most of the cells can only be seen with a microscope. We are going to explain the microscope in later videos, so you can watch them. For now, let's talk about cells. Forms cells can exist. So cells can exist in four different forms, and they include independent living organisms as colony and as filaments, and as part of living organisms. For free organisms, they possess only one cells and capable of independent existence. They carry out all life activities. Example are the amoeba, euglena, paramecium, etc. So now let's talk about some of the examples. For example, the amoeba. Let's talk about the amoeba. So it has irregular shape and changes constantly. They inhabit human body and causes disease, which is parasitism. So now let's take a look about the structure of an amoeba. So this is what it looks like. So they uses their pseudopodia for movement and injection of food. You can see the pseudopodia there, which we labeled with A. So they use it for feeding and movement as well. Yet the digestion process is another topic altogether. So we are going to make a video about that. If you want to learn about that, you can go check more of our videos in the other channel. So this is food particles. You can see it pass through the pseudopodia, and then this is the diagram of how they leave the body cells as well, which will be explained in later videos. So note that amoeba uses the pseudopodia for both feeding and movement. They also get rid of waste from the body with the contractile vacuum, and they reproduce by binary fission. Cell colony is simply a cluster of identical cells living together in the same medium. Many organisms form colony. So we are going to discuss volvos, which is a free-floating freshwater algae that grow on water surfaces during rainy season. So this is an example of a volvos colony. This is a diagram. So you can go to other videos to learn more about volvos. Then cells as filaments. So filaments are structural protein of cells that are aided by skeleton during movement. Examples are the spirogyra. So you can see a diagram of a spirogyra. So this is the diagram. The spirogyra is what it looks like. Those are cells as a filament. They are joined by end to end, and they have a chloroplast for photosynthesis. Then cells as part of living organisms. I'm going to explain that as well. So a group of cells that perform specific functions are called tissue, while a group of tissue that does the same are called organs. And then we are going to talk about cell structures. There are different types, sizes, and shapes of cells in the body, and they have many structures like the cell membrane, which controls passage of materials from the cell and out. The nucleus, on the other hand, is the control center of the body. The chromatin in the nucleus contains DNA, the genetic material of the cell. The nucleus determines how the cell will function. The cytoplasm, on the other hand, are gel-like liquid inside the cell. They provide a medium for chemical reaction and facilitates normal functioning of other organs in the cytoplasm. Cytoplasmic organelles are small organisms suspended in the cytoplasm. So examples are ribosome, Golgi apparatus, lysosome, and mitochondria. So you can see a cell structure. This is one of the cell structures provided. You can see the organelles, you can see the nucleus, then cytoplasmic organelles, which includes the ribosome, you can see the cell membrane that was explained earlier, which allows passage of materials in and out of the cell. So these are cytoplasmic organelles like the ribosome and all. Then the mitochondria, you can see the mitochondria, which are oval shaped or rough shaped. So they are the powerhouse of the cell. Then the lysosome as well. They are thin wall bodies and contain enzymes. Their function is removal of dead cells. Then the Golgi apparatus. There are a series of disc-shaped sacs that function in synthesis, packaging, and distribution of materials. Then the endoplasmic reticulum. There are membrane-like structures that form channels within the cytoplasm and aid transportation of materials. Then you can refer to other of our videos to learn more about the cells. Plants have rigid cellulose cell wall, which is absent in animals. They also have larger lysosome.